How do you handle the communication of your release notes with your customers? Well, today's video is sponsored by my good friends over at Amoeboids, and we're going to be taking a look at a very special use case of their automated release notes app that's available for Jira. Let's take a look at how you can create a widget, and I'm going to explain to you why the widget is a cool idea. I'm going to show you how to embed it into your website and how to get release notes from Jira in an automated way to your customers with just a few clicks. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like if you get value out of this video, and don't forget to check out the links down below, as you definitely want to check out Amoeboids documentation, their app, and so much more down below. All right, let's jump into Jira and let's start with an example. We're going to talk about widgets with automated release notes. All right, so here I am inside of Jira, and I've been working on an exciting new e-commerce website. I got my epics, I got a couple of stories, as you can see here, and now I'm ready to release this new MVP out into the wild. But there's so many different ways to get my release notes to a customer. And today, we're going to be looking at the widget capabilities of automated release notes. Now, why the widget? I like the widget because this particular widget that we're going to add to our website, it's going to basically draw the user's attention so that when they're navigating the website, it's fully customizable. You can do a lot with it, right? When your user is on your website, they're going to see this what's new widget, and they're going to be able to click on it, and then they're going to be able to see at a glance that summarized view of what was released, what is part of this latest version, right? And this is a really cool and I think subtle way of getting your release notes out in front of your customer, but also kind of be like almost passive, but still very active. And I'm going to show you just how amazing it looks. So let me show you how easy it is to create the widget. And then we're going to go and embed it into our website. I'm just going to show you how phenomenal and easy it is. And I think just intuitive that it's going to be for your customers. So let's go back into Jira. And this time we're going to go into our automated release notes app. So again, here we are in Jira. We are going to go down to the automated release notes. Now, as a quick disclaimer, I have a release. I have created an e-commerce MVP. There's data in there. I'm about to release it. This is totally optional. You don't need to do this. Automated release notes will work without this, but I just like to do it. Call me old-fashioned. This is just the way I do my project management. And I think it's a good way because it helps with all the project management aspect of it, right? So by the time we get to a release, we have already done a lot of work, and the releases inside of Jira just helps you organize it. So it's just an extra added feature, but if you don't have them, automated release notes will still work without them, but this is just the way I do it. Okay, so we're gonna go over to automated release notes, and the first thing that we wanna do is we want to create a widget. So in here, there is a release pages and widgets section, so we're gonna click into that. Now, if you prefer, there is a step-by-step guide that you can click onto here. It'll give you all the steps that you need in a more written form, but you can also just continue watching this video and we're gonna cover everything you need to know. So we're gonna scroll down. We're going to go down to widgets, okay? I'm gonna click on the create button right over here. And this is gonna take me to this section where we have to create our widget. Now I'm gonna walk you through all the critical steps here. There's a couple things you gotta know, and then we're gonna keep on pushing through. So the first thing you wanna know is you gotta give it a name, right? So we go out and name our widget something. So I'm gonna call it e-commerce MVP, all right? You can give it a description, but notice that the description is not visible on the widget. So this is more for like internal purposes. So just call it like first release of the app, all right? Now we're gonna go to release details. I'm going to leave the defaults of version name and version description. Again, check out their documentation for what else you can do here, but I'm just gonna leave it here because this is going to automatically just grab whatever information I have in my version, my release that I have in Jira. It's gonna populate it in here. Now we go down to issue details. What do you want the gadget to show you? In this particular case, we can show you 3 different fields. So let me show you what I'm gonna pull in. First, I'm gonna pull in the status. I wanna know what's been released. Next, I am going to pull in the summary, the title of what we just released. And then finally, the issue type. Now this is all configurable by you. You should pick the 3 that you want at a minimum, and recommended by the automated release notes team is that you should at a minimum pick summary. because that's going to be your consistent for when release notes get updated. But everything else, the other two, you can have a little bit of fun with it. If you're releasing like bugs and new features, I recommend the issue type because this one's going to be kind of cool. And then whatever other information you want. Maybe you want like the description, whatever you want, right? If you have a custom field, if you have something special that is going to be descriptive for your customers to know or something that's valuable to them, again, you get 3 of them. Summary, you should keep. And then the rest, the other 2, you get to play with a little bit more. So we're going to go with this. And before we hit save, we actually want to scroll back up because there's a second panel to this. And so over here, we pick the widget mode. Now we have 3 options. We have floating, inline, or bar. In this particular case, I'm going to go with floating because this is just going to show up kind of like on the bottom right corner. And it's really cool how it looks. I'll show you in a second, right? We're going to come down. You get to decide what is presented. How does the widget get presented to the user? In my case, I'm going to leave the defaults, which is what's new. I am going to make the button size large. I want it nice and big. You can pick the colors, a couple of different configurations you can do here. Very, very easy and intuitive. And then finally, the last thing that we have is the widget content. There's a JQL here, and this is really cool. So this is fully customizable by you. Let's just say that you have a large subset of data and you want to focus in on very specific items that you are releasing, right? So even though I'm going to be pulling in everything in a specific fixed version, let's say that you don't want to show it all, right? Let's just say maybe you don't want to show the bugs. You just want to show the stories, right? Maybe you just want to show, hey, these are new capabilities that are coming out. You don't need to worry about the bugs, right? Let's assume that my release had a bunch of bugs and epics and a bunch of other issue types, but I just want to communicate the stories. Well, in here, we can simply start typing in and. This is what I really like, is that the JQL builder is very intuitive. It actually helps you basically build your JQL. Now, if you've ever built JQL in Jira, they're the exact same thing. So there shouldn't be any learning curve here. I just like their UI. I like their implementation, right? So we're going to go with issue type, right? And here's, again, the recommendation. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to go equals story, right? I'm going to click on that, backspace a little bit. There it is, validated. I'm going to click on save now. At this point, we're completely done with the widget, but we're not quite ready to embed it into our website. We need to do another step. So let me show you what's next. So once you've created your widget, we're going to come over to rules. In the rules, we're going to click the create button. Okay. And we're going to give this rule a name, right? So push out newest MVP release. All right. We're going to scroll down, keep manual, and then just hit save. All right. This is very critical. You got to save your rule first. And now we're going to add an action to it. Since we've been working with the widget, you might have guessed it, we're going to publish to the widget. So we're going to click on the plus button here. And this gives us the ability to name it, right? So I'm just going to call it action 1 widget 2. And then I'm going to select the widget. This is going to be my MVP 2 that I made. I'm going to click on save. Okay. Once I do that, my widget is almost ready to go. I'm going to click the play button right here. It's the run button. I'm going to click on that. And now it's going to prompt me to pick a version. So I'm going to go to my MVP version that I have. Remember from the beginning of the video, I'm going to click OK. All right. And once I do that, now we're kind of good. We are basically ready. So what we need to do now is we need to go back to our widget, go into our widget, and we're going to click on this embedded section. And we have some source code. Okay. This source code is going to be very important. So we're going to click on copy code. Okay. Then I'm going to open up a CodePen IO. So I'm going to paste in my widget. Now, in a moment here, I'm going to show you what happens, okay? But first, rather than starting at a blank page, let me get like a whole website going, right? This is usually in the real world, you're going to have this inside of an actual, hopefully, fingers crossed, functioning website, right? And so let's just very quickly build an e-commerce website so that my release notes makes a little bit more sense. So I'm just going to very, very quickly, in a blink of an eye, build an entire website, right? And here we have an entire website that is now an e-commerce with 3 products that we can add to the cart, right? But we just made a major release. We just got our MVP at the door and we want to communicate with our users all these new and exciting features. So this is where we bring those videos back together, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to do a little review here, right here in the bottom right corner. You may remember from when we were creating the widget, the what's new. And so now when I click on this, or any user, right, it's going to be embedded right there in the bottom right corner. We're going to click on it. And because we ran, remember we hit that play button, we hit that run button back inside of automated release notes, it's basically going to automatically present the stories that are available as part of this release, right? And so all this is created for you. Your end user can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and it's just automatically just embedded in your website, right? And so this is what's really cool, right? Because again, you have a website, and this widget is going to help us solve this problem of how do we communicate our release notes in a fun, intuitive way. And this widget is really a really cool and subtle, easy way to, again, no overhead. You already have your releases in Jira. You're already working with all that. So all we're doing is pulling it into a widget, putting it on our website, and now our end users can click on it and get the latest information on the latest releases. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and most importantly, don't forget to check out automated release notes in the Atlassian Marketplace. Links in the description down below. I think it's pretty cool. If you're struggling with release notes, check out the widgets. It's going to be a really cool, nice feature for your website. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.